heavenly, heaven scent. It smells fake, it smells cheap. I can almost guarantee it doesn't smell like anything else you have in your collection. Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. It's time now for our annual year-end review where we talk about the best and worst fragrance launches of 2025. I did my best to get my nose on anything new and notable from niche brands, designer brands. I'm gonna share my honest thoughts with you. Now, of course, I did not have a chance to try absolutely everything that launched this year, so if there is a true standout that I missed, drop it in the comments. And of course, I want to hear from you. What was your #1 favorite fragrance that launched in 2025? We're starting on a positive note with the best new launches. We have a lot of fragrances here to talk about. These are in no particular order, but if I had to name my queen supreme of 2025, it would have to be Creed Eladaria. This fragrance was made for me. It is definitely my personal preference, my personal style. Love at first sniff. Not only do I love wearing this fragrance, but I have complimented this fragrance on other people out in the wild so many times. Just one of those fragrances that really stuck with me from the first moment I tried it. It starts very bright, fresh, floral, aquatic with the peony, rose, pink pepper, bergamot, but as it dries down, you get the powdery notes, vanilla, musk, cashmere woods. So it has a really incredible, soft, warm, cozy base. One of my all-time favorite fragrances from Creed. I would put this up there with Sublime Vanille, Love in White for summer. I think it's signature scent worthy. It's bridal. It's so beautiful, so special. You might not get it right away. I instantly fell in love with this fragrance, but slowly over time, I became addicted to Eladaria. It's so special. Another huge standout for me, Dead Cool Mochi Milk. It is so popular. I had seen so many people talking about this fragrance online. I tried it, fell in love, and I've been addicted ever since. It has vanilla, rice, milk. Not only is the combination of notes delicious, but it is the perfect balance and proportion of each. This is one of the most heavenly fragrances I have ever tried. That's one of the best ways to describe it. A little sweet vanilla, but not too much, not a cheesy gourmand. This is so different from all of the other vanilla fragrances that launched in 2025. I need it in everything: body lotion, detergent, dryer sheets, incense. I've seen so many cute ancillaries for Mochi Milk and I need them to keep coming. I absolutely love this fragrance and it has easily become one of my go-to most worn fragrances of the year. And because of Mochi Milk, I felt inspired to branch out and try other milk fragrances, and 2025 became the year that I realized that I do not hate milk in fragrance. I actually really enjoy it. Commodity Milk Orchid is another one of my favorite launches of the year. This is their collab with Perfumerism. Keynotes include fig milk, coconut cream, almond blossom, vanilla orchid. This fragrance is like bottled sunshine. It's a little bit tropical, a little floral, very warm, cozy, a little delicious, mouth-watering. But Milk Orchid is not just another milky fragrance. It's not just lactonic notes. You have so many other things in there. It smells like whipped fruity, floral deliciousness. It's very soft and cozy, and it's casual enough to be worn every single day. This could be a signature scent. One of my favorite brand discoveries in 2025 was definitely Noise. I added Unmute, 12 O'Clock, Shitty Day to my collection, but those were new discoveries. They weren't new launches in 2025, but I also tried this sample recently. This is called Only Human, with keynotes of pink pepper, Italian bergamot, water lily, bamboo, vanilla bean, ambroxan, and cedarwood, and oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful fragrance. This is going on my wish list. I'm not even shocked. Every fragrance I've tried from Noise has been really incredible and interesting. And even if the notes aren't the most unique combination, they always find a way to put a little twist on it so that it does smell different from anything else you might already have in your collection. I highly recommend checking out Only Human from Noise. It is an incredible fragrance. If you like vanilla, if you like ambroxan, the way this dries down on your skin, you're gonna be addicted. And two other fragrance houses I was able to explore in 2025. These are new discoveries for me and I found favorites. Harlem Perfume Co. I fell in love with the bottles, the design, absolutely stunning. and Brown Girl Jane. These are both carried at Sephora. They have incredible reviews online, so it immediately piqued my interest. I first fell in love with the name Showgirl, but this is one of the most beautiful, flirty, fun-loving, wowza, showstopper type of fragrances. Definitely full bottle worthy, although I picked up the travel spray during the savings event because I was trying to be responsible. It's very sparkling, bubbling like a glass of champagne. It's light enough that I feel like this would be a really fun daytime event fragrance. Could be every day, but it could be something that you wear on the weekends or for a special event during the day. And then Chalet from Brown Girl Jane. To me, this smells like the ultimate toasted marshmallow fragrance. Instantly transports me to après-ski, fireside with a glass of hot cocoa. Very warm and cozy, musky, a little chocolatey deliciousness. It's a little bit sweet and gourmand, but not too sweet. It doesn't just smell like dessert. It smells like a very elegant fragrance. This is very Snow Princess Winter Wonderland. Another new marshmallow fragrance that I really enjoy is Powder Love from Juliet Has a Gun. Now, this isn't toasted marshmallow chocolatey fireside. This is more light, fluffy, airy, candy-coated sugar plum fairy type of vibes. Keynotes include marshmallow, cotton candy, sugared almond, orange blossom, tonka ambroxan, and powdery musk. Very dainty, very princessy. It's very soft, easy to love, a great casual, everyday grab-and-go type of fragrance that's non-offensive. The dry down is really lovely, easy to enjoy. And so on trend for 2025, I feel like we saw a lot of fragrances in this category or with similarities to Powder Love, and Juliet Has a Gun needed this fragrance launch after Miami Shake. Maybe a controversial addition to this list, I've seen some mixed feedback on Clementine Dream from the Seven Virtues. I think it's pretty polarizing, and I definitely understand. The first time I tried this fragrance, it was very love-hate. I initially tried it and I thought, okay, that's really nice. No, it's way too ambery. It's not at all what I expected. But the more I started experimenting and actually wearing the fragrance in real life, letting it dry down on the skin, I came around and I started really enjoying this fragrance. Now I absolutely love it, but it's one you have to let dry down on the skin and you have to manage your expectations. I was envisioning a citrusy vanilla, orangesicle, dreamsicle type of situation, and that's not how this smells because it does have the amber. While it does have a little citrus and it does have a little vanilla, it's a lot more complex. It has more going on, which I think works in its favor. It's a very unique fragrance. And as I've been creating this list and kind of whittling down which fragrances I would consider to be top favorites of the year, I feel even more confident in my choice to include this fragrance because it's a standout. Among a lot of good fragrances, I think this one is great. I can almost guarantee it doesn't smell like anything else you have in your collection. Unlike Queen's Caramel from Ellis Brooklyn, this is a sugary, sweet, caramel, delicious fragrance, and we saw so many gourmand fragrance launches this year. If you really like that category, that style of fragrance, then I'm sure you're very happy. You have plenty of options to choose from, but I do think it reaches a point where you might start feeling a bit bored. The reason I chose Queen's Caramel is because it has that really interesting maple note that to me is very prominent. That's what really stands out to me even once it's dried down on the skin, and that's why I say this is still a somewhat unique fragrance, and I think it is so pretty to wear for fall, winter. It reminds me of being at the state fair, eating all of the sweet treats like the candy apples and the caramel popcorn. So there's something that smells very nostalgic about this fragrance, and I've really enjoyed wearing it. Definitely the best Ellis Brooklyn launch in 2025 in my opinion. Now these are two woodier favorites that aren't necessarily my personal preference, or I wouldn't think this would be my style, but I absolutely love them. We have a vanilla woody and a floral woody. I've been loving my fragrances that are very peaceful, relaxing. They smell like a spa retreat. That is the exact mood of Aesop Arner. It's a little spicy, a little herbaceous with keynotes of magnolia leaf, Roman chamomile, and cedarwood. Very unisex, maybe even a bit masculine, but I love that slightly sweet, spicy cedar. It reminds me a bit of the holiday season, and I just absolutely love cedar chips. Cedarwood is one of my all-time favorite notes in fragrance. It's very dominant. This is very, very woody. It's not the type of fragrance I'm gonna get a ton of use out of or I'm gonna reach for that often. If I do, I will probably want to layer it with something either vanilla or floral just to add a hint of femininity. But one of those fragrances that I appreciate the way it smells so much Even though I don't necessarily want to wear it, I want to smell it. And Bois Talisman from Christian Dior, also unisex. This is part of their elevated line. It's a little bit sweet, vanilla, smoky, woody, dry down, beautiful fragrance. I received a little sample and this is on my wish list. Definitely full bottle worthy, maybe in the future. The perfumer is Francis Kurkdjian, so you know it's going to be beautiful. I'm surprised I didn't hear more buzz and excitement surrounding this launch this year. I feel like it launched and then nobody really talked about it anymore, but it's absolutely stunning. Nobody is cranking out the new launches quite as fast as Kayali, and these are my 3 favorite launches of 2025 from the brand. Oudgasm Chocolate Oud 11, this absolutely blew me away. Keynotes include caramel apple, spiced rum, velvet orris, incense, dark cocoa, and chocolate oud. This is to the level of what I expect from Kayali launches. It's a little bit edible, but not too literal. It's a little bit sweet, but not too much. It smells like the holidays. It smells like a really expensive, fancy party. It is absolutely stunning. Fleur Majesty Rose Royale 31 with keynotes of juicy pear, sweet peach, rose royale, pink peony, violet wood, and purple musk. I love rose and peony, such a beautiful combination. If you love sweet floral fragrances, I think you will really appreciate this. It reminds me a little bit of Elidaria's younger sister. It's not quite as elegant as Elidaria. I don't think it smells quite at the same level as Luxurious, but still a really beautiful, a little bit more fun-loving, less serious version. And from the Freedom collection, I love Musk Bouquet 27. This is absolutely my favorite. All 4 fragrances are really pretty. They are on the lighter side. In my experience, the Bouquet 27 is definitely the strongest, and it dries down to become a very potent white floral, which I love white floral fragrances. They tend to be on the softer side. So it's really interesting that it smells so intense, so strong. It's a very warm floral, very solar. It reminds me of summertime. Initially, it almost smells a bit like sunscreen, but the dry down is really what unlocks how special this fragrance is. Outstanding. Earlier this year, Quince launched fragrances, and not only do they smell outstanding, but they are insanely affordable. These bottles are $50 each. And while it does say they are inspired by or maybe similar to more well-known designer and niche fragrances, I don't find these to be dupes. These fragrances all smell unique. They stand on their own very well. These are my 3 favorites. I would say if you're going to spring for one of these, Oud Rouge is by far the best. It's cozy, casual, would make the perfect everyday fragrance with saffron and ambrox. Jasmine Nuit is a beautiful evening floral fragrance. And Les Cerises, or the cherries, is a beautiful cherry blossom, very realistic cherry fragrance. It's not syrupy, it's not smoky, it's not vanilla, it's not candied, it just smells like cherries. Now let's talk about 2025 flankers. Every year, especially in the designer world, we see so many new flanker launches. While they might not be the most exciting new fragrances, a lot of them tend to be incredible because they're basically new interpretations of an already very popular fragrance. Some are good, not great, they're forgettable, but these are my top 7 favorite flanker launches of 2025 that are even better than the original. Starting with my holiday party fragrance of the year, Guerlain Shalimar L'Essence. It's ambery, powdery, vanilla, it's a showstopper. This fragrance is so iconic with good reason. I'm telling you, it is criminal how underrated the new Angel Stellar fragrance is. It smells amazing. One of the most beautiful new launches of 2025. I want to say this was maybe limited edition or exclusive to their website. Maybe that's why not as many people were talking about it. It's actually frustrating how incredible the new Valentino Donna Born in Roma Extra Dose is. Same bottle, totally different juice. This fragrance deserves so much more hype. Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia Intense is a much more elegant, elevated, sophisticated version of the original. The Intense is more floral, less sugary sweet. This is for true gardenia lovers. Miss Dior Essence got all dressed up in her houndstooth and black bow. This is a totally different interpretation of Miss Dior. Very bold with those dark, juicy berry notes, and more evening appropriate with the woody dry down. YSL Libre Vanille Couture is very beautiful. It's a slightly more vanilla version version of the original Libre. I absolutely love what they did with the bottle. If you had to choose one Libre, go with Vanille Couture. Lancome's La Vie Belle Vanille Nude is my dark horse favorite. So unexpected. I really like the original La Vie Belle, but Vanille Nude really kicks it up a notch. This is so fun, flirty, princessy. It's a little vanilla, a little musky, very wearable, very easy to love, easily my favorite from Lancome. And now we are turning to the most disappointing new launches of the year, and it is worth mentioning that I didn't simply split everything into either best or worst. There are plenty of fragrances somewhere in the middle. They're good, but not great. Some are a bit forgettable, or I just don't really like the way they perform. They're way too light. I'm sure I will continue to wear and enjoy a lot of these fragrances that are pretty. I just wouldn't categorically consider them to be one of the best new launches. But at least they're not one of the worst. I'm starting with Maison Margiela Replica Never Ending Summer Eau de Toilette. These fragrances are obviously not my personal style, but to make the worst launch of the year list, I have to find you somewhat offensive, and that's exactly how I would describe this fragrance. It is so sharp. It is so green. There is something so jarring about this fragrance. I've always been on the fence with citrus, but this fragrance is so sharp to my nose that it's actually difficult for me to really smell, let alone enjoy. It has Spritz Accord Orange Vetiver. I like orange. I love an Aperol Spritz. It could be the vetiver that really throws me off about this fragrance, and I've heard mixed reviews. I remember when I first talked about this fragrance, I had people in the comments say that they loved it, especially once it dried down. Every time I go to Sephora, I'm so curious to see if maybe my senses have changed. I try this fragrance almost every single time I go to Sephora, and I can't do it. It's not for me. This is the fragrance equivalent to scraping an orange rind, you know, the really bitter, harsh, not edible part of the orange, and then sticking that straight up your nose. I don't think I'm a big fan of vetiver forward fragrances. I also received this Ormond Jane Vetiveria Eau de Parfum, and I thought, you know what? My tastes are changing in 2025. I'm becoming more refined, more elegant. I don't need those princessy notes. I really want to expand my palette. That's what was going through my mind when I said, yes, of course I would love to try your new vetiver fragrance. I hate that I hate it, but I don't like it. This smells incredibly masculine. It smells a little bit like Christmas trees or the forest. I just feel like this is how I would smell if I got lost hiking in a forest somewhere and I was stranded for days on end and I was like barely making it alive. This smells like survival. It's too natural, and I like natural, but this doesn't smell natural in a peaceful, calming, you know, doing yoga or meditating by a lake somewhere. This is like I am on the show Survivor and I am like gasping for fresh air. Skylar Double Dates. I purchased the travel size earlier in the year. I ended up having to give it away, and I love dates, so I was really interested in this fragrance. I thought this will definitely be my style. It was so sickeningly sweet and artificial. It smelled like it came straight from the lab. Nothing natural about Double Dates from Skylar. Very unfortunate. I knew it was not something that I was ever going to wear. Sweet Date Sticky Toffee Brown Sugar. I thought maybe this is something I would layer with another fragrance, but then I reminded myself that with a collection this size, I really can't hold on to fragrances that I don't like on their own. I have to layer them with something else, so I decluttered from my collection. This was really disappointing for me. I love dates. I love the idea of a date fragrance, but it just translated to cheap sugar. Prada Paradox Radical Essence. They went too radical. I love the original Paradox. I love Paradox Intense, Virtual Flower. I had such high hopes for this fragrance, especially since one of the main tweaks was that they added pistachio, which I usually really like in fragrance, but this pistachio is not a lovely, nutty, kind of warm gourmand pistachio. Very woody and earthy in a not delicious type of way. So it doesn't quite go with the vibe of the fragrance. And see, initially it's not bad. It's once it dries down that it becomes so disappointing. At first you get a lot of that sweet jasmine. It's really pretty. And you think, oh, this is going to be great, intense jasmine, like an evening jasmine. But as that pistachio note comes forward, it just throws the whole thing off. I actually find it shocking how bad this is. I mean, this is truly an offensive version of Paradox. And I remember seeing so many like not so great reviews, and I thought there's no way that they messed this up and that it isn't going to be a good fragrance. People are just being dramatic. And then I tried it myself, and I tried it on the skin, and I've tried to wear this fragrance and I can't do it. Now, this might be surprising since Chocolate Oud is one of my favorite fragrance launches of the year. This launched at the same time. It's the Oudgasm Milky Musk Oud 30. I feel like I have been on a roller coaster with this fragrance. I want to love it more than I actually do, and I really just need to trust my gut on this one. My first impression of Milky Musk was, ooh, what's happening here? It just felt so disjointed. I smelled musk, I smelled milky notes, a little strawberry milkshake in there, and it just felt like I was smelling all of these different parts of the fragrance, but they weren't harmonizing very well. I tried it later on my skin, another day, and I thought maybe I was wrong. I started to like it. Tried it again, didn't like it. Tried it since. Keep going back to this fragrance because I want to love it, and I feel like maybe I'm just not getting it, maybe I'm not appreciating it, but it's so hit or miss. But every single time I smell this, it does give me a headache. This is the style of milky fragrance that I've tried in the past that made me think I needed to swear off all milky fragrances because it's almost instantly headache inducing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's maybe this style of musk or the type of note. There is something in here, and I can pick it up. I can detect it in other fragrances that I've tried. It's like headache in a bottle. Ellis Brooklyn Guava Granita. I had such high hopes for this fragrance, especially since I loved Miami Nectar, and that was one of the first fragrances from the brand that I really connected to, and I thought this is going to be like the sister scent. So now I'm gonna have a summer wardrobe of fragrances to wear from Ellis Brooklyn. And it's not terrible. I have to come out and say it. It's not the worst thing I've ever smelled, but this also smells a bit like a headache. The banana is very sweet. It smells very fake. It smells like almost those fake little banana candies. The runts, I think, or maybe the candies. To me, this smells like fake banana candy that was created in a lab by people with lab coats running codes on a computer. It's like AI generated banana candy. There's something that is so painfully artificial about it. I wanted to like it. I can barely stand it. I feel like I could appreciate Guava Granita on somebody else, but I personally would not choose to wear this on me. I know it would just make me feel sort of sick and nauseous. But the number one worst fragrance launch by far in 2025 has to be Juliette Has a Gun Miami Shake. Described as a warm, sweet gourmand with keynotes of wild strawberry, orange blossom, and vanilla absolute, this was an absolute abomination. The disrespect to my city from Juliette. I wanted to love this fragrance. I love the bottle, the pink, the blue. This sounded like it was going to be perfect for me. Juliette has definitely been in the lab with Ellis, both with their white lab coats on, crunching numbers on a computer, trying to come up with some sort of natural, fruity smelling flavors. It smells fake, it smells cheap. In many ways, it probably is a good representation of Miami, but it's just so surface level. The bottle looks beautiful, but then you get closer, you actually smell it, you get to know it, and it's absolutely terrible. It's been a while since I've even tried this fragrance. I have revisited since my initial review. I know it was very harsh. I have tried to revisit, but it's the same thing as the replica fragrance. When it's not for you, it's not for you, and it could be a sensitivity in my nose. I'm sure whatever I'm smelling is so egregiously harsh. I can't imagine that other people are having the same impression as I am. So I'm sure for other people, maybe you smell this fragrance and you think, yeah, it's a little strawberry, a little vanilla, it's fine, nothing that bad. There's something about it that does not agree with my nose. I have a visceral reaction. It smells like a really bad hangover. after a long night partying in a Miami nightclub where somebody has dumped vanilla milkshake on you. It's terrible. I really wanted to love it. It wasn't meant to be. There are so many better strawberry fragrances. There are so many better fragrances from Juliet Has a Gun. I don't know why anyone would feel the need to subject themselves to that type of treatment. And that completes my list of best and worst fragrance launches of 2025. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. I want to hear from you. What are your favorites? What are your least favorites? Sound off down below in the comment section. We'll keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be tagged directly to the video and listed down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.